Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being interested in the MPO committee meeting matters. I'm calling this meeting to order. This is the Laredo and Webb County Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, otherwise known as the MPO. Today is October the 19th, 2022, and it's 1:31 p.m. We're meeting at City of Laredo Council Chambers, 1110 Houston Street. Obviously here in Laredo, Texas. You can also see us, join us through laredotx.swagit.com/forward live, and then also on Spectrum TV channel 1300. So with that in mind, let's move to the roll call.
Yes, thank you. Mayor Pete Science.
Present.
Judge Tano E. Tijerina.
Present.
Councilmember Ruben Gutierrez.
Present.
Commissioner Jesse Gonzalez. Councilmember Dr. Marte Martinez. Commissioner John Galo. Councilmember Vanessa Perez. And Mr. David M. Salazar. And Mr. Humberto Tito Gonzalez Jr.
Present.
We do have a quorum?
And the quorum, just for the public, is 4.
Yes, according to our bylaws, it is 4.
Motion to excuse the ones that are absent.
Okay, there's a motion to excuse. Is there a second?
I get a second.
Is there a second? Discussion?
Comment, Marta Martinez just called me that he's on his way.
Oh, okay. Okay, should be coming. Okay with that. Okay, call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard, none seen. Motion carries. Citizens' comments. I don't see any cards here or anyone wishing to speak. Please come forward to the lectern here. I don't see anyone getting up or approaching the lectern, so I'm assuming that there's no speakers. And if that's the case, we'll move forward. Now, the items requiring policy committee action are forthcoming, beginning with Roman numeral 4A, approval of the minutes for the meeting held on September 21st, 2022.
So moved.
There's a motion by Councilmember Gutierrez, seconded by Judge Tano Tijerina. Discussion, none heard. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? None heard, none seen. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. B is receive public testimony and approve resolution number MPO 2022-08, adopting the following proposed amendments to the 2023-2026 Transportation Improvement Program, which is the TIP, and there's various items there as the agenda states, 1 through, well, there's one primarily. Do you want to discuss that, Mr. Mendez?
This is just a resolution approving those amendments where we opened a comment period at the last meeting to add the Vallecillo project and then reprogram the Fletcher Lane and the Calton Road interchange grade separation, since the letting date is changing for those two projects, and then to add the additional transit funding that was received. We opened the comment period, no public comments were received. So now we just need to have a public hearing here. Anybody else wishes to speak on the item? And then we can go ahead and move forward to approve these items and move forward with the amendments.
Okay, again, it's a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against? For or against? For or against this item? Seeing no one approaching the lectern, is there a motion then that we close? And close and approve? Is that the proper motion?
Yes, correct.
Close and moved by Judge Tano Tijerina, seconded by.
Mayor, I would like to make, now that it's approved, right? I mean, I would just.
He's about to finish.
Okay, you want to finish it?
Yeah.
Once you finish it, yeah, I'll make a comment on the next step, so.
Oh, okay. So, seconded, so you're saying a discussion?
Oh, no, it's just more the next step. Well, once we approve it, I mean, we're in favor, so once we approve it, we'll just provide the next step that we need to go through.
We did lose quorum
comment.
just now.
Sounds like comment.
We lost quorum with the judge stepping out.
Okay, do you want to make your comment as he's?
Sure, yeah, so the comment is just, is this getting approved? The next step now is to proceed into the advanced funding agreement with the project sponsor, which is the RMA. So we'll do that so we can begin getting that in place so we can proceed with the development of the plans. Or they're developing the plans, right, which we can continue working towards that lead date that we have established for construction.
Okay, in connection with this morning we did have a press conference where Congressman Hendrick Weah made the announcement of the $3 million that were earmarked for this and for this matter, and for the Vice-U round. So the monies are there, and once we get approval from this, then I think we can move forward on the entire amount. Yeah, we just-
Yes, that is correct. So the policy committee had taken action to provide the 16.5 million, category 7. So now we're adding the project to the tip and making the project information changes to the MTP. That'll be on the next item. But basically, it's just the formalities we need to go through to, program this project in the tip.
Okay, so by approval then today, if that's the wish of the members here, then we're set financially, correct?
Yes, and it amends our tip, and then we need to send that to the state, TxDOT, to program it in the state transportation improvement program in the next cycle.
Okay.
So that's when pretty much it gets finalized, but we do need to amend it in our tip first before taking that step.
Okay, sounds good. Someone closed? Yeah, maybe there's another member.
Oh, there's probably somebody coming in.
Air conditioning works really good now.
It doesn't.
You want to hear?
There.
We know it's Halloween time, but
No, it was Ms. Perez, yeah, she's coming out. Yeah, I guess we'll wait for her. She asked that we wait for her if we can. Yeah, she's just settling matters with her. She's got some children there in the back. And it's really her district as well. Let's see. Yeah, we're about to approve the Vallecillo financing structure. As previously discussed, it's just the formality of the approval here. So I thought it was important for you to vote,
Okay,
since it's your district.
yes.
Okay, so call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard, none seen. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Number 2, reprogramming addition of project CSJ 0922-33-076 for the realigning of Flecha Lane and Las Cruces Boulevard. Purpose of amendment is to add this project to the 2023-2026 TIP as the updated letting date for this project. So there's a motion to move on this, and seconded by Councilmember Perez. Discussion. None heard, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next one is reprogramming, again, project CSJ 0922-33-093, Kelton Road and Santa Maria Avenue interchange, and that's the overpass, the rail overpass, I understand. Okay, there's a motion to move forward on that. Is there a second? Seconded by Ms. Perez.
I just have a clarification question.
Discussion, yes. Go
Yes,
ahead.
so it says it's been changed to 2023. What was it, what year was it originally supposed to be letting in?
So this project's been changing over the years, so it had been moved to 2022. Since it was gonna be let in 2022, we didn't add it to the new tip, which is 23 to 26. But it needs to be changed again, just because there's some delays with the projects, some things that still need to be worked out. So they've asked to, in coordination with TxDOT, the city and TxDOT decided to move this project to 2023.
So when can we expect for them to actually begin? Because this is in my district, and it's, there's a neighborhood there, the Los Martinez, whenever there's a train, they can't get out, they have to go all the way to Lafayette to try to get out of this neighborhood. And I know that they had asked for this, and then I found out that this was actually already funded. So this has been funded for many, many years now. And then, so I was happy to hear that, but now I'm seeing that it keeps getting pushed and pushed, so I'm just wanting to know why.
When did this project start? When was it brought to it?
15
To us?
Or more.
Honorable Chairman, members of the Commission, Ramon Chavez, City Engineer, to you or over the years? 'Cause
Over the years.
What I've gone in the history, I think I originally, this was awarded in 2005.
Yeah.
2005?
And what's taken 17 years to get this project on the roll,
I've been
especially if
here-
it's been funded?
I've been here now 3 years. We've gone through a redesign process with TxDOT, with Union Pacific, also in agreements that we've been having to go through. Those are some of just the the key elements that.
And I
we've been
understand
working
5, 6
on.
years, but not 17
Right.
years, almost 18.
Yes.
Yes.
We have a very brief update on the status on both of these.
Please.
We
Yeah.
can give those right now, so. if
So that's
you
that's
may-
on the
Yeah,
agenda.
it's on the agenda.
If
Item
we don't-
5B.
They're very brief reports.
We can move that up?
If the committee doesn't mind, I'd like to see, because I know that it keeps getting pushed and it's
Right.
funded, and my concern is that the money's gonna have less value as we.
And so
more we
part
push
of
it
the things that we're working on, and I'll let my staff do that presentation right now, but part of the things that we're working on with Calton Road is that we're doing through a redesign right now. The consultant is wanting to push it to 2024, and we're not recommending that. So that's part of our brief report that we have, if we may.
And when those changes happen, between the city, consultant, TechStop, if it has federal funding, I need to make that change on the tips. I need to keep bringing it back to you to make those changes to change the letting date. So that's been happening over the years. I know at the last meeting, there was a question about, whether we still need this project. And I think we answered that, there's federal money that's earmarked to this. And if that money was returned, then you have to pay the money that's been used already as well. So I think, the idea was, keep moving forward with this project. But like Mr. Chavez said, at least when I got here and when he took over at engineering, this project was already there in the books. And
Are those monies still suffice to complete the project? As we know, with inflation, every single project is becoming more and more expensive.
Those are things that we're evaluating with our consultants also, because over time, of course, we had certain money already allocated.
And that's my point, 18
Yes.
years and it still hasn't been
Right.
done, finished, and we're still having to do studies on it and change the design around.
I don't know if we may,
If we
Mayor,
may
if
bring
we
that
can
up,
just
then I will.
give those brief reports, if you allow my staff.
Go ahead, yes,
Yeah,
please.
they're on the agenda. I don't know if you want to move with those items
it's
up.
item
Please.
5B.
Which are they?
Motion to move item 5B up. It's 5B?
Is it 5B? Yes, okay, there's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Gutierrez, discussion. None heard, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None seen, none heard, motion carries. Go ahead, 5B.
Good afternoon. My name is Gloria Perez Saavedra from the Engineering Department, and I would like to
Welcome.
give you a brief report of the Calton Road overpass project. We were working with a consultant with amendment number 12. TxDOT provided a recommendation to change the design of the bridge, the overpass. Right now is proposed to be steel, and they recommended if we change it to concrete. So, pre-stressed concrete. So we went back with the consultant and they provided proposed amendment number 12. We were providing comments back and forth. They provided the proposed schedule to do the redesign of that portion of the project. And they wanted to push the letting date to March 2024. When we saw that date, we said, well, we have been delaying this project for so many years for one reason, another, and another. And they said, well, we cannot afford to delay it another year more. So we said, no, thank you, to the amendment number 12. So we're gonna continue with the actual design that we have right now. Since some property owners, they have been relocating fences to the new right-of-way, the consultant is requesting additional services to get now the location of the fences and other items like APs, putting some power poles. And our consultant wants to have all that tied and put it into our construction plans to go out for bids on August 2023. So we're waiting on the consultant to give us that proposal, review it, and then recommend approval to go to City Council, obviously first to TxDOT, and if TxDOT agrees, then we go to City Council for this additional serving work. So basically, we're saying no to the consultant to push the letting date to 2024. We want to go out for bids on August of next year.
Question, TxDOT, did you have an issue with the first design of it? And that's why we had to redesign, as far as the consultants are concerned? Or there was no issue with the first design?
TxDOT's over here.
I'm sorry.
We can answer that, because the savings that we were.
Well, yes, the recommendation from TxDOT, they were saying that we might get some savings going with pre-stressed concrete versus steel that we have right now.
Okay.
So doing that, I'm gonna be very brief, but the thickness of the new structure is gonna be higher. That means we're gonna reduce the clearance under the railroad. So we had to do a lot of coordination with UPR. They were asking additional time for review as soon as the construction plans are done. That's why the letting date was being pushed and pushed and pushed. So we said, well, you will do all these changes, we're gonna delay more the project.
Yes, ma'am.
Did Union Pacific cooperate in this? I mean, are we done with that part of it? What are we pending right now? Like, cause you're saying 2023, but it's been my experience in the short time I've been here that 2023 is gonna end up being 2033. I'm just, I mean, I've seen projects get pushed for one reason or another. Are we gonna be able to make that 2023 date, or is that realistic?
Yes, that's something that we're pushing to the consultant, like a firm date. We still have to finish the agreement with UPR. In order for UPR to give us the final one,
Okay.
they need the 100% approval from TxDOT plans. So that's something that we're working very closely with TxDOT staff. And as soon as the consultant finalized some, we had a meeting last week, some items that they have just to double check with the UPR, they're gonna submit the construction plans 100% to TxDOT for the final review. And that's something that we discussed with.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Does the funding have a chance of lapsing because of the time?
The money is there.
It's there, but
yes.
is it, we understand because there's a lot of monies that have been there that this board has not been able to push through. So my question stands, does it have a lapse because of the time, the funding?
No, not that we're aware of. Not that we're aware of.
So that,
Well, yeah.
that, $16.24 million that are earmarked, it's specifically earmarked for that project, so we've asked that same question. The easy answer, I guess, is, technically no, but if at one point they try to consolidate all the earmarks that have not been used over the years, that doesn't mean that at one point the feds could not decide to reallocate those funds.
Reallocate.
right?
Exactly.
Right.
That's always at their
That's the problem.
discretion every single year, right?
So how can we avoid that from happening? I mean, cause if we start something, like, can we, instead of, I mean, cause this saving money going with this other route might end up costing us the entire funding that we have.
That's-
So is it worth the risk? I mean, what are the savings?
Compared to the risk of losing the entire project.
So that's why we are not recommending to move forward with that, because originally there was a certain savings there, and we talked about, what, $700,000?
At the beginning, rough number, we were told $900,000.
But then the fee proposal from the engineer came in, and it's high, and so we're saying, well, is this really a savings? And then now extending it till March 2024, and that's why we're saying, no, I mean, we need to get this project done, pretty much.
Right.
I guess I want to point out something, right, since this money was allocated in 2005, since then, there's already been one redesign that basically had to be done, because in 2014, all the design standards changed. So I have to be updated once. At this point, TxDOT is really just providing oversight, right? So those are recommendations that we see from a cost-saving perspective. But at the end of the day, the project sponsor is City Laredo, so that's your ultimate decision. Again, so whatever you decide, I mean, we'll go forward and support that.
Great, thank you.
And it was originally something that it was work to look at, but now that we see it, I mean, we're not recommending
We're not
it that way.
Sounds good.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So that takes us to the transit revision to increase fiscal year 2023, 2026.
Second.
From 69,929,560 to 88,274,582 for an increase of 18,345,022. And there's a motion by Judge Teno Tijerina and a second by Dr. Martha Martinez.
Who is here for the record?
I'm sorry?
Who is here?
Oh, okay. No, you've been here for quite a while. And of course, Ms. Pettis as well. So call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard. None seen. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. The next is receive public testimony and approve resolution number MPO 2022-09, adopting the following proposed revisions to the 2020 and 2020 through 2045 Metropolitan Transportation Plan, which is the MTP, and calling for a revision of Appendix A, short-range projects identified in the NTP and listed in the TIP as necessary.
Did you
That is the
receive-
motion.
Yeah, we just need to receive public testimony today too, and then you can close and.
Okay, so move to, for public testimony, correct?
I think it's already
Public
open, I
hearing.
think we just need to,
Close and,
I think you just need to go ahead and ask 3 times
correct.
for or against.
Okay, again, it's a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against? For or against? For or against? So now the motion would be
To accept,
to close and,
to close, so move to close.
to close and
To
accept.
close
or
and approve.
Okay, there's a motion to close and approve as stated and seconded by Councilmember Gutierrez. Discussion? None heard, those in favor say aye. Any opposed? None heard, none seen, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. D is a discussion with possible action on the allocation and programming of Category 7 funds for the preliminary engineering and right-of-way phase in the amount of $1 million for segments 1, 2, and 3 of the Laredo Outer Loop and any other matters incident there too. The segments 1, 2, and 3 are basically the continuation of, do we have a map so the public can be aware of this? And I know Ms. Cabello was asking me questions regarding this matter, and I was gonna ask her to come up and give us her thoughts.
Since this item is being requested by Webb County and in coordination with TxDOT, they had a discussion about this, but, so we're bringing it forward. I know there's a presentation at last month's meeting. I'm using the map from their presentation, just a disclaimer. And here's the map that they provided, and this comes from the feasibility study that TxDOT did for the outer loop. So these are the segments that are being spoken about right now. And one of those, as you mentioned, is that extension of Loop 20 to Rio Bravo, which the committee has.
Although
taken
we're
action
saying
on
it's the outer loop, but it's really all the extension of Cuatro Vientos all the way down to 83. And of course, potentially to the 4-5 bridge, but 1, 2, and 3 doesn't go to the 4-5 bridge currently.
Yeah, that's correct.
But
And
eventually
speaking with TxDOT, they mentioned that those segments are for that Loop 20 extension, right, and just that portion of the outer loop.
Yeah, probably the context may be a little misleading, right? In that area, where currently Cuatro Vientos ends at Magana Hine, in order to connect to 83, and then, again, should that future 4-5 bridge come in, that area, that really is what everyone, I think, here has referred to as the Southern Loop extension.
Right.
But in that area, it would also really be dual designated at one day as part of the outer loop, right? But in the context, I think that we're talking about it right now, it's really for the Southern Loop extension, right? For right now.
Ms. Cabello, would you mind coming up? I know as of Monday, we authorized you to continue, or at least to engage in negotiations on the 4-5 bridge. And I know you had a concern regarding as to how this thing is going to shape up. And I know certain council members also, at least I've got concerns too as to how that MOU is going to shape up, with the,
Mayor, interim city manager for the city of Laredo, I'm not sure if I'm able to disclose anything that was discussed in executive session at this
no,
point.
well, as far as giving direction to at least approach, the other side. The other side is really because it's a county and the
I
land.
don't think that's
Yeah,
relevant
no,
to
that's
the
not
item.
relevant to this item, Mayor.
Okay.
I think what is relevant is, in this particular case, we're trying to extend, I think, this, the Mangana Hine connection down to 83. I think that's the ultimate goal of what is trying to be achieved. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And all I'm going to say, thank you, Ms. Cody. All I'm going to say is,
Thank you.
I'm gonna say the same thing that I said last time. We have real active problems on the north side of the city along the Mines Road area, significant problems. And I really feel we should start from the north side and work our way southward as opposed to starting from the south side and work our way northward. because that would ease a lot of problems in the Unitech area. I think that would ease a lot of problems with the Hachar-Ruthinger connection. And so I continue to ask our partners in the county, is that something that we can look at? If you have some extra funds that we can utilize to maybe make that connection to Hachar-Ruthinger up in the north, so we can clear the Unitech area, which is such a problem area for us, and then try to help with the Mines Road area as well. I just think that's a better use of resources right now because of the big problem. But as far as whether this connection has to be made, regardless of what happens with the 405 bridge, this definitely has to be made. I would hope that the county would kind of help us with that north side. We're dying, Judge, we're dying up there.
But, I understand, but there is monies out there that we can work on the north side. The only thing that I'm gonna mention is, this is a county project, we're putting some real dollars in here, and I just would hate to see this, automatically me just say, go ahead and let's do the north, but in all reality, I think this is our plan for the southern tip, and I know that you're having to look over your district, with me as a county judge, I have to look at the whole county, and I think it's important to see it that. I'm not gonna say that we can eventually, maybe you all wanna partner up with us and bring in some monies as well and do a whole different deal for the north, hey, by all means, let's look into that. But I think this is a plan for the county, and it's gonna help us, the county grow together. So I think it's really important, and that's why I don't necessarily wanna say, let's move monies now. I say we stick with the plan that we have, and in the future, y'all wanna partner up with some monies, by all means, let's go ahead and go half and half and do, because this has been important for the north, and I have to see that well, because I get the phone calls too.
And to your point, Judge, that I am looking out for the county and the region as a whole. When I say that, it's not just necessarily that we're dealing with the county, with the north part of the county, we're dealing with the county as a whole. And we're not getting complaints of the south locations having the difficult time with truck traffic, with noise, with all, just traffic in general. We're having that in the north, and it's affecting our viability long-term as a competitive bridge, right? So we want to be able to maintain ourselves as a #1 land port. And right now, I think, need to invest dollars into that area so we can, and countywide, it helps a lot, so we can continue to grow that north section as much as possible and actually get traffic in and out so we can improve productivity on our bridge system as it is right now. It's not that I'm looking at the north section as a whole, I just see that investing MPO dollars in the north side of the city is just much more of a viable plan, short-term and intermediate term, just to be able to fix the current issues that we're dealing with. And I think starting north to south is better to me than starting south to north. And it has nothing to do with, I know it's your project, I'm just saying, if it's possible, can we please consider just looking at that north section before we start allocating funds? At least let's get down together.
If I may?
Yes, sir.
I think you're absolutely right. I think, but I think you're doing it, I think you have it a little bit misconstrued. We're actually starting in the north. And how are we starting in the north? Via Seals and a Chart Parkway. Those are two, we have nothing going on in the south. And I think the projects have already started in the north to alleviate some of that traffic. So you're asking us now to add even more of county dollars when, like I said, if the city wants to come and partner up with us and find some monies to go for the north, I don't see a problem with it. But I just don't want it to be, misconstrued or misconception that we're just doing it in the south, because we have ISCOs and we have a Chart Parkway, we put a lot of money into it. Again, as a county judge, I have to see the whole picture, not just certain segments, but we've been putting a lot of monies out there for Category 7 and for everything else. We're just saying, hey, this is a project that I think that will behoove South Laredo and the county as a whole, and let's just start there too. But going back to your initial question to me, can we do it? Let's look into it. I don't have a problem looking into it, but this part shouldn't be affected.
Again, and I'm sorry to reiterate the same point. I know that we worked on the west side of I-35. Our big problem area right now is to the east side of I-35.
But that west side's connected to your east side, to your problem area.
It will be. And again, if we currently had an issue, like a real vehicular or truck traffic issue affecting us on the south, where we were getting phone calls daily regarding that, then I would be absolutely 100% on board, because I'm the one that has been pushing to try to get the connection from Manganaheim down to 83. I think it's an incredibly important plan for our future as a region. But we currently have a problem right now with that connection from the west to the east, and we really need to allocate our Cat 7 money into that. That's my take on it. I feel like that's much more, that's more important. And yes, we have allocated money to the west, but we have to allocate money to that east section. That happens to coincide with my district, but it's the problem area that we get. How many meetings have we had about that, Judge? How many times have we had calls? And we have no options other than using these Cat 7 monies to try to fix it.
You know I'm recording you, right?
Okay?
Because the day that expansion and everything that y'all keep talking about on the west side, this is exactly what happens. Y'all are creating more and more traffic. What you're saying, you're trying to relieve it. And so it's important to know that that's the reason why we're trying to do what we're trying to do, because we have to expand ourselves. We can't put all our eggs in one basket. That's why I'm saying in a joking matter that I'm recording you. I'm not actually recording you.
No, it's being recorded.
By all means, it doesn't matter. I'm just playing around about the phone. But going back to your initial question, yes, I don't see a problem with it. But please understand, look, in the 8 years that I've been here, we've had countless stuff of the city of Laredo on here, and it's been your projects. I want to call it your projects. The county has always been assisting. All we're asking for is the same assistance from the city. Why? Because this is a major project, not just for the city of Laredo, but for the county as a region. These monies that we've allocated, that we've put in, almost $2 million a year for the next 5 years, that's $10 million. That's $10 million that could turn into 80 to 100 million potentially. And that's the reason why we're just trying to add a little bit of value to this land as well.
And I agree with you, Judge. To be honest with you, I know you all, look at it district by district and so on, section maybe. But as a mayor, I also look at the entire city as well. I personally, this is why I would want, for us to give us a little more time to evaluate this a little more. Because I know the South really needs a lot of attention, and I know that 405 Bridge is going to be extremely important to us. But we need to see the entire picture. I personally haven't seen, I don't think the city as a whole is seeing, what benefits, that 405 Bridge, because really it all gears down to that jewel, that 405 Bridge. And these roads will connect, and then that's going to open up, some further development, for the area, for the city, and the monies that it could actually generate. So I'm saying, let us, evaluate exactly what your plans are, what the landowners' plans are for that area, ourselves. And I think if we see a timeline and we see the benefits that could be generated, it may conceivably be even more than your area, which I doubt, because I know your area is truly growing so fast. So we can compare. You have the full picture in your area. I don't have it in the South yet, and I don't think you all do. Also, Judge. So, for me to balance these things, what section that comes first, I need to see the whole picture. And I think this is something that I think Rosario and management would like to, to see too.
Well, what does Rosario management have to do with MPO? This is Webb County putting in our monies for this development. We have I got my notes here. We got $80 million available. There's 64 million. We're asking for 40 million of that. You still have 14 million. It's not like we're coming out. We're not. The monies are there. We're still having $14 million in the pot. How can you say no to county monies that we're offering?
No.
That's the part I don't understand.
Personally speaking, I don't think we're saying no. We're saying let's at least what I'm saying is let's see the entire picture here. And for me, the South is extremely important, and especially that 4-5 area bridge. And we haven't seen the entire picture. And I keep referring to Rosario because she's our manager and she manages, what the arrangements will
But
be.
this
There will be an
decision is not for the city. This is for the MPO.
This is MPO.
This is what I'm just, that's why because it started off about the bridge, and now it's kind of like coming back about the bridge. And I would ask that you all would, if it's some kind of situation, because, the bridge situation hasn't been, we're still working on the bridge as far as a contractual situation. If this is kind of a way y'all leveraging it, I promise you it's gonna go further south than y'all expect.
No, but
Because this has nothing, this is about the outer loop and the loop connectivity. Yes, the bridge will come eventually, God willing, but if this is gonna be some kind of leverage to say no, because how can, it's gonna look terrible. I will come out publicly today in front of a camera saying that the county is giving money, but yet the city doesn't want to because of management?
No, we want the money. What I'm saying is.
It makes no sense.
Well, it depends on the perspectives.
Judge,
but-
I haven't mentioned the bridge.
No,
at all,
hold on,
Judge.
hold on. No, I did, and I take responsibility for that. And because we need to know. What I'm saying is maybe we should have an agenda item on the 4-5 bridge at the next.
But that's not having anything to do with this, Mayor. You see
Well-
what you're getting confused with?
No, it does. Indirectly, it does, or even directly if you connect the dots.
I thought you just said you were the mayor and you're supposed to be overseeing everything, the whole project, so now you're going back to the bridge. You see what I'm saying? So you're contradicting yourself here.
Well, let me ask you this, do you have any objections if we talk about the bridge?
But put an item on the agenda if you'd like.
No, but maybe
But this
at
has
the
nothing to
next
do
meeting.
with the bridge.
No, bueno, pues.
And this is, and I feel bad because now it's like this is taking the hickey over the bridge and this has, I don't understand. Trust me, I will tell you, it's gonna look terrible. Here's the county putting in monies to this whole project could flourish. Here's a $10 million project that we could eventually turn into $100 million
And I agree
and
with
more
you.
so, and we're gonna turn it down because we need to see it more?
But we haven't seen it. Maybe you've seen it. We haven't seen it. And what I'm
You've
trying to-
had a whole month, Mayor.
For what?
We showed it
Oh, no,
last
it
month.
is, but I'm saying the entire picture for the South. This may be even more, maybe the city could contribute even more to this project if we have a better picture of what lies before us. The 4-5 bridge, that area.
If this is the games that we're gonna play, so be it, because trust me, there's two ways to play this, and this is not gonna be fun for either one. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it all has to do obviously because of the bridge situation, and it really baffles me and it saddens me. This is a reason why we cannot get anywhere, and I will say this publicly in front of a camera today, because this is really sad that this is happening, very sad.
Would you be willing, I think you are willing to have an agenda item on the 4-5 next time?
Mayor, this has nothing to do with it,
No,
but
no,
if you
but-
want one, go ahead and put it
Yes, sir.
on.
May I-
Okay,
may I
sure,
have-
go ahead.
Judge, is there, can you give us, I know we've had a month, and you're right, but I haven't been able to move quickly to be able to find the stuff.
If we can't do a month, that's the reason why this other one's lasted 18 years.
Judge, forgive me, I have.
Here we are making fun of the 18 years, but here we are doing this.
No.
Makes no sense.
It takes a little longer than 1 month to try to find,
Really?
viable, parties that will help us on that northeast side of the city, which I think is really important. Just give us.
So
a
now
little
you're
time.
telling us, so now we're inviting you to the party, but you're telling us what dance, what to wear, and what to drink and what to eat.
No.
Because here's the county's funds, but yet you're telling us, this is what I want you to do with your funds. Here I am, in a gentleman's way, telling you, hey, by all means, we could look into it. You'll want to do something else? By all means, but this has nothing to do with that, this agenda item.
No, Judge, I'm asking you to give us, to sit down with us, and before you allocate these monies, sit
No,
down.
these monies, I want them allocated here. I've already done my due diligence. These monies, I want them here. I'm saying if you want to go above and beyond the north side, by all means, you want to come half and half, tell us. You want to put another $1 million in there? We'll put another $1 million with you for that district area.
To your point, we may be able to partner with you.
Then
down here.
that's a whole different
No,
separate
but-
item.
But down here as well.
Well,
If we'll look at.
But
if
that's
we were-
already been said.
I know, but potentially.
You want to come on in, why don't you just put it a contingent upon the city of Laredo? Go ahead and pass it, and then we'll do a contingent upon the city of Laredo bringing in their monies. It's that simple.
All we have to do is, if we sit down and look at the whole picture, I think it would be better. I would feel more comfortable with it. You keep, I'm sorry that the bridge was mentioned, it should not have been, but.
No, it shouldn't.
But that's.
But it's
that's
also
not-
taking the hick, these items are taking the hickey because of the bridge.
Okay,
And that sounds-
and I take exception to that. I speak my mind, and I know that the bridge is connected to all the road system, especially in the south area. So we speak our conscience, and go ahead.
Yeah, well, I would feel more comfortable if we would just sit down and kind of discuss what we could do and maybe how we can partner on both these projects, both the northeast and the southeast portion of the city. Just sit down with us and talk to us about it, please.
I don't understand how you, again, I'm gonna say it, here we are inviting you all to the party, we're putting a party and you're telling us what to wear and what to eat.
No, we're asking.
Makes no
you to be-
sense.
We're asking.
But
asking
look,
you
why
to
don't
be
we
a partner.
pass this today and talk about what you want in the north tomorrow?
Because maybe we'll partner with you on this.
Well, then contingent upon you all partnering with us.
So if we don't partner, then it doesn't pass.
What doesn't pass?
Okay,
No,
so,
because we're gonna put the monies up. If you wanna add monies, that's even better for us.
no, but we want to potentially be partners with you on both problems, on both problem areas.
You've had a month.
Well, let me ask you
But we're
this,
not-
That's what I
and I
don't
know we're
understand.
repeating ourselves, can we pass this all to next month, Judge? And this way you can have, the council, your commissioners as well, and we can have.
Mayor, my commissioners are not here because more than likely they were thinking the same thing that I was. This is a no-brainer. How can you say no to monies that are being allocated to the MPO?
We're not saying no, period. Maybe not.
So then I'm gonna start doing the same thing. Every time the City of Laredo projects, which has been plenty of them in the last year, I'm just gonna keep saying, you know what? I need a meeting, hey, a lot of times I see them, I read them, I go through the agenda.
But you have all the information. We don't have information now.
You haven't had it in a month?
Well, we had this, but it's connected to other things that are coming and.
You keep
and
talking
all
about
time.
connectivity. No, have you had this in front of you for a month?
Yeah, but not all the specific points that were brought up now.
What's
by-
specific?
I-
The only thing that specifically he's asking for is for you all to come in with extra monies. Has nothing to do with a project. If y'all wanna come in with money, so be it. Y'all can vote however y'all want, but I promise you, it's gonna look terrible. It's gonna look terrible. But you know what? It doesn't surprise me the least bit of what happens through here. It doesn't surprise me at all. It's just sad.
You know
It's
what
really
suggest that
sad.
we table this, and we pick it up next go around. This way we'll have a little more time.
I mean, we're here, we should discuss this. I mean, but Judge, I'm not wanting to, I can see you're getting visibly upset, Judge, and I'm sorry. I'm trying to work with you to try to see if we can do something and partner, because, I mean, the county and the city working together is gonna be much better for our region.
And how much better have we not done? Here we are doing Vallecillos, here we are doing a Chart Parkway, here we are doing everything like that. How can
And
I
maybe we can
not?
partner with you down here as well. Can
Well,
we
then
take
that's what
over?
I'm saying. If you want, let's go ahead and pass it and you all bring them as much money as y'all want. Y'all wanna put $1 in or 500,000? I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. Y'all wanna be partners in it, be partners in it. But don't stop the project.
But we don't have that authority. We would have to take it to council and get authority as to how much money, we could provide to this project, if at all. So even if we wanted to, Judge, we can't because we need to meet as a.
Well, here I am
council
telling you, you don't have to, cause it's getting paid for. And you're still turning it down?
No, but there's others.
Think about how this sounds. I hope you all replay this again tonight, because seriously, this is the reason why nothing gets done, seriously.
Yeah, let's table this, we'll bring this up, and we'll bring the 4-5 bridge matter this way, both items at the same time. This way I'll get information, all of us will get information as to the south, and what plans we have for that, and I think and I know it's gonna make sense, but it's we're arguing over stuff that I think we'll all agree to, once we see the entire picture. Yeah, I would move to table if I can get a second.
The second.
There's a motion, no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I think it's done here.
Thank you, John.
No, thanks.
So it fails for, did we get did you all vote?
Yes.
And you all voted as well to table, okay. So it's a table for next month, and we'll review this item, plus we'll bring in that 4-5 item as well.
Mayor, can I guess just a recommendation, Mr. Mendiva? I don't know what the MPO has, obviously, I know in the past we've talked about workshops, and I do agree that, I'm gonna say, in the past 3 years that I've been back here with Texas, I have seen the city and the county work well together. I think that this topic, very good discussion here. I think we need to look in detail of how the specifics are gonna work out, but is there an opportunity, Mr. Mendiva, for us to set up a workshop specific to this item so that we can all dedicate time to looking at it? Because I think it gets difficult, right? If we put on the agenda, the next month, we're gonna be back here, possibly in the same boat. Can we dedicate some time to sitting together and looking at it possibly?
To couple the 4-5 item also,
I guess I'll leave that open to Mr. Mendiva.
Yeah, we
to
can have
see
a what he workshop. I'll just remind everybody, the Bridge 4-5 is still outside the MPO boundary, the proposed site, but we can still discuss it. Because it definitely impacts, right, our MPO boundary as well.
Right, we asked for a month extension, we're not asking for it to be stopped, that's one thing the
But
judge
when
needs to
we have the
understand.
workshop, we have holidays coming up, so will we do it in
Try to do
November?
it
We can do it before the next policy meeting, which is November 16th. is the date of the next policy committee meeting? We can set something up for then, or the following week after that.
We should do it before.
Before then.
Let's do it before the
Yeah.
16th.
Poll us and see,
Yeah,
see
I can do that.
the
We
county.
can have a workshop to discuss, how to do the funding, and then we can discuss Bridge 4-5, just as a reminder, there really can't be any action
No,
on
but
funding.
But just as long as the
anything outside
public
of our
knows that
boundary.
there'll be some
Yes.
discussion on that. Yeah,
We can do that.
okay. Okay then, so yeah, move on to the next item that, which would cover E, I guess, too. Yeah, I would say E is tied to D.
Yeah.
So I would move to table alongside D, I guess, D and E.
Guinea, second.
To be brought up in this workshop as well, it would be my,
May I make a point, just clarification? So we're separating the items as we're talking about $1 million for Cat 7, right? And Cat 7 for the right-of-way phase. This other item right now, E, was just to have a discussion if the policy committee wanted to authorize staff to coordinate with TxDOT and Webb County on this strategy. But there's a lot of details that need to be worked out, and it can be worked out at the workshop. But I just wanted to
The
mention
workshop.
that this item was specifically to just, authorize staff to move forward and coordinate. And I'll remind everybody
for
that,
the workshop, right?
yeah, TxDOT is the project sponsor for this. So yes, and they can coordinate and partner with the county, and the county can provide money. But there's details that I need to confirm with TxDOT when we're programming these projects in the future in the TIB and the MTP, just to make sure that all that is accurate. Because, like I mentioned, TxDOT is the project sponsor.
Okay, so,
That's,
so do we need a motion? Yeah, I would say, yeah, let's just table and then we'll, for the time being, for the next month,
It's already tabled, Mayor.
no, D was tabled.
Oh, E.
the E, okay, motion to table for
Second.
next month, to be incorporated into that workshop.
To the workshop.
Yeah, and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
These four ayes, the motion carries. Any against? Well, the ayes have it. F, discussion of possible action on the Chatruthing Road project, and that's usually in TxDOT. Do we have any?
Yeah, just a quick brief again, we are on tap, we have finalizing the schematic and we are relooking at the estimate. We did get should be getting the estimate sometime this week from the consultant, and we'll be looking at that. And then accordingly, hopefully the next meeting, we'll be able to provide a report on where we're at with the updated estimate.
Okay,
No problem.
thank you. That's F. Let's see, the RMA. Ms. Montemayor, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Melissa Montemayor with HNTB, representing the Webb County, City of Laredo, RMA. I'll be brief, but updates on projects that are currently ongoing or being studied. FM 1472 Killam Industrial Boulevard, that project is ongoing. There was some utility issues that were encountered. Those are being worked on to be resolved. We're still at about 50% complete, and even with those utility issues that should be resolved by October, we anticipate the project to be at substantial completion by November. So that's just next month. So we're doing good on that project. On Los Presidentes, also construction is underway. The contractor is completing the final drainage work on that. The sidewalk is being constructed. With that, we're about 95% complete. There's an 18-inch water line adjustment that will be done as well. That is also, even with that water line adjustment, we're going to be substantially complete by November as well. On Loop 20, Cuatro Vientos, the acceleration deceleration project, Anderson Columbia is working on that one. They started work on March 14th. It's progressing very rapidly. The project's at 95% complete. Really, that's all that's left is illumination, northbound and southbound lanes, and that project will be also substantially complete by November as well. The TRZ study, so we have hired TXP to do that TR study update on Loop 20 Cuatro Vientos. You heard last month we were meeting with developers and landowners to determine what their plans were for the property along both sides of that corridor. So that has been complete. We've retrieved all the information. TXP is now basically finished with the project and will present on the November 7th council meeting the results of that study. Next is the Springfield Phase 3 project. Outstanding, it's under construction. Outstanding items are the tie-ins of the driveways to Shiloh, and then there's a water main line work on the north side of the project that needs to be complete as well. The sidewalk is about halfway complete on construction, and so that project is 87% complete with substantial completion by this December. So moving along quite rapidly. The Webb County Fairgrounds traffic, the TIA, the traffic impacts analysis, we have Transcend working on that project. We did receive the 2035 traffic projections, and so with that information, we're going to have this TIA ready by December. So by the end of the year, that will be complete. The River Road Corridor Study. I'll be here the rest of the week. We're conducting our stakeholder meetings on Thursday and Friday. We have 5 meetings on Thursday. We have those divvied up by groups, city, county. On Friday, we have some of the developers and engineers representing those developers on Friday. And so tomorrow we'll be at El Portal. On Friday, we'll be at the Fasken Rec Center. And again, these meetings are for the purpose of retrieving stakeholder input on the River Road, the alignment, what they know. You know, my experience is the people that know the most about a project area are the people that live there and are familiar with it. So that's the purpose of these stakeholder meetings for the next 2 days. The Safe Streets and Roads for All grant, you know, we submitted on September 9th, about a week before it was due. What we will have next is we'll have elected officials contact Secretary Pete Buttigieg, and that's kind of a standard thing as a follow-up to express support that we included in that application package. So we'll be reaching out to several elected officials here in Laredo for their support and giving them some talking points to contact the secretary with that support. And then lastly, Vallecillo Road. You know, I think most of us were here this morning for the wonderful presentation that Congressman Cuellar had announcing the $3 million of the earmark appropriations earmark, $3 million. We're also very happy that the CAT $7, $16.5 million was allocated to the project as well. The RMA actually added some funds, as did the Killam family. So with that, we are financially constrained. And November, we will be having a board meeting for the RMA and moving forward with the development of the PSNE. So with that,
Well, thank you for your
available to
report.
answer any
Any questions or thoughts?
No.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, director's comments?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'll be brief. Right now, our planners are attending the American Planning Association State Conference through the 22nd in El Paso, Texas. Also, the U.S. Department of Transportation Reconnecting Communities Pilot Planning Grant. So that was an application. We submitted that on October 12th. We thank the City of Laredo as the fiscal agent and Downtown Church and Laredo Main Street that were our partners. We appreciate that and thank the City of Laredo and the Economic Development Department that helped us with submitting that through grants.gov. So we hope to get a favorable response on that. Also, as part of the TA set-aside call for projects that we're doing, we held 2 workshops. So there's one virtual on October 7th and an in-person one on October 12th. The deadline for that is November 18th. So hopefully we'll get some projects for that to be able to fund alternative transportation projects here in our region. And then just have an update on the next meetings. Active Transportation Committee is October 26th, 2022. We've been meeting virtually, but we're actually going to meet in person for this next meeting. We're going to try to do that quarterly. The next technical committee is November 8th, and then policy committee November 16th. So we'll figure out a date for the workshops. We'll go ahead and pull you all before the 16th. So you have the meeting before the 16th, that workshop.
Good, thank you. Okay, anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn? A motion, a second by Gutierrez for this meeting adjourned at 2:24 p.m. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.